Hello, my name is Miss Wilson, and welcome to today's session on connotation and denotation. Let's get started with the essential question, and that is, how can I determine the connotation of different words? So let's begin with defining connotation. Connotation is a noun, and it is the emotion or feeling a word causes in addition to the word's actual meaning. So let's look at a sentence that represents connotation. She said, that ride wasn't my favorite. It was not very interesting. The word interesting has a negative connotation. Why? Because you're looking at the context clues. Ride wasn't my favorite. So by default, that phrase would indicate that there's something wrong, a negative idea, a negative emotion. And therefore, interesting, the word interesting would have a negative connotation. The connotation of a word is the emotion it makes you feel. A word with positive connotation makes you feel happy, while a negative connotation evokes bad feeling. So, interesting in the sentence that I just read is definitely has a negative connotation. Let's look at the word denotation. Again, denotation is a noun because of the suffix tion, shun. Shun always indicates that a word is a noun. So let's look at the definition of denotation. And that is the real, exact, or literal meaning of a word devoid of emotion. Let's look at the sentence. The dictionary gives the denotation of every word. So basically, this is a factual word and has no emotion whatsoever. It's very objective in feeling. The actual definition or meaning of a word is the word's denotation. So we have connotation that evokes feelings, emotions, whether it's negative or positive. And then we have denotation, which is just simply a flat line or means literal meaning of a word without any emotion. Now, emotion, again, a noun. Why? Because of the suffix tion indicates it's a noun. An emotion is the feeling or mood a person has or is in. So when you have an emotion, you're in your feelings, as they say. Okay. So love, hate, anger, happiness, and fear are all emotions. Sometimes you love, sometimes you hate, you're angry, sometimes you're happy, other times, and then you're fearful at times. Emojis, which a lot of people usually, attach to a text or email, etc. Emojis display different emotions people can have. And then evoke. Evoke is a verb to cause or bring about an emotion or feeling. When you evoke a negative connotation, that means that there's something bad happening. The music evoked happiness in those listening. So in this case, evoked represents the is the action of what the music is doing, and in this case, it is representing a positive connotation, representing happiness. Okay, and it says TV commercials evoke emotions to get watchers to pay attention and buy their products. If you can recall, when you were little, on Saturdays, you would look at commercials, and those are the people who are about my age. You would look at commercials that had like sugary uh, cereals. You had Flintstones, you had Fruit Loops, and those, and with all of the cartoon characters associated with the commercials, you would, as a kid, would want that cereal. And so you evoked good feelings, and it enticed children to ask parents to buy those particular cereals. Okay, the last word is negative, and negative is an adjective, and it represents a bad or undesirable feeling, not good. And the sentence associated with the word negative, losing money is a negative outcome, which definitely it is. Frustration, it evokes frustration, anger, and sadness. Um, and of course, these are negative emotions that people do have. We're going to talk about word connotation as subjective, open to interpretation and feelings. Okay. So let's look at the following sentence. My friend gave everyone who attended her party extravagant thank you gifts to show her appreciation. And we're identifying or determining if extravagant in this sentence is a positive connotation or a negative connotation. We are automatically know it's positive because it says positive on the page. However, let's look at the context clues or the words around the word extravagant to confirm that this is extravagant represents positive connotation. It says, my friend gave everyone who attended her party extravagant thank you gifts to show her appreciation. So I would think that thank you gifts, that phrase would definitely confirm that this extravagant word is a represents positive connotation. And to show her appreciation again would represent a positive connotation. Now let's look at extravagant in terms of it being negative. It did not seem appropriate to have such an extravagant party when so many people were struggling. Again, this is up for interpretation, where a person who was given this extravagant gift would be and attended the same party would be happy to get this gift because it's showing that they are appreciated. But in this scenario, the person believes that the extravagant party is nonsense. Therefore, it is a negative connotation. And let's look at words that would signify this. It says, when so many people were struggling. So again, it has some type of negative aspect to it. Although extravagance seems to be a nice word, but when you're saying so many people are struggling, that would indicate that it is a negative connotation. All right, so let's identify whether the words are positive or negative. So when we're dealing with the first sentence, he is serious, and the word serious is what we're looking at. He is serious about his studies as he dedicates several hours to his learning each night. So is serious a positive or negative connotation? Let's look at the phrase, he dedicates several hours to his learning each night. Thing. So therefore, it has to be positive. The word serious is positive. Let's look at the next sentence. She was dressed too casually for such a fancy occasion. Casually, I would think is a negative, represents a negative connotation. Why? Because of the word too casual for a fancy occasion. So there's some type of negativity there. So therefore, we're going to circle the word negative. Third sentence, they were impulsive and always ready for a new adventure. Of course, impulsive is the word, and when I look at the phrase "always ready for a new adventure," that seems to have a positive connotation. So we're going to circle the word positive. And then lastly, she acted childish when her mom tried to have an important discussion with her. Childish is the word, and I believe it is negative because the mom was trying to have an important conversation with her and she was just acting very childish. All right, so now we're going to look at these words here. I'm going to show these words. And we're going to identify whether the group of words represent positive, a positive connotation or a negative connotation. All right. So we have those words. Again, let me show you those words again. Cowardly, intrusive, courageous, bizarre, determined, interesting, fussy, responsible, lazy, and confident. Okay. So I am going to take my handy dandy text box and move it. I believe this has to do with what? Positive connotation. And we're going to type the words that represent positive connotation. So the first word is cowardly. The next word is intrusive. The next word is courageous. I believe courageous would be a good example of a positive connotation. The next word is bizarre, determined, and interesting are the following words. So I think a determined is a good positive connotation. Interesting could be a good positive connotation, provided that the sentence has context clues that makes the word interesting positive. Fussy, responsible, lazy, and confident. I believe responsible and confident represent positive connotation. So these are the words. I'm going to move this up so that it will be right up under the topic positive connotations. And so we can assume that the remainder of the words are negative. So again, let me take my text box and just going to move it in the area right up under negative connotation. And then I'm going to type in the words. Cowardly is one. That's the first word. Intrusive is the next word, I think. Bizarre is yet another negative connotation. Let's see. Fussy and lazy. Let's look at that. Fussy and lazy. Okay. And so you have 5 words here. And then you have, move that up, you have 5 words over here. So you have 5 words representing negative connotation. You have 5 words representing the positive connotation. But just want to let you know that it by default and by themselves, these words represent the specific topic. But if you use these words like interesting in a sentence based on the words around that word will determine if that word it represents positive connotation or a negative connotation. And thank you for allowing me to give a presentation on connotation and denotation. I hope you learned something from this session. Until next time, bye.